What's up, guys? It's the Ask Jeremy and
Carey
show. Welcome to another week, guys. We got a good question today about fear and how do you handle it. Carey's going to kick us off with the definition of fear.
All right, guys. Fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous and likely to cause pain or a threat. Or to be afraid of someone or something is likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening. Sounds pretty scary to me.
Yeah, I think fear is, a proponent of the 21st century. So I think that we look at the animalistic instinct of fear is there's a threat, something's trying to kill me, take my goods, or threaten my family. I'm going to fight back. Or that cliff, or that car. We know about those nature and fears of things that can kill you, which is a healthy fear, which is innate in us. And then we move into the psychological fear of individuals or situations or how we are in our mental or emotional health, and that is a whole nother ball game. I think that's probably more what we're geared towards talking to. So we acknowledge the fact that if you might be on a roller coaster, you might be driving too fast, or something might be coming at you, you'll have fear. We'll table that, and let's talk about psychological fear and maybe how you overcome big obstacles in your life, problems, situations, things in that sense.
Yeah, and Jeremy's saying this, and I'm thinking like, there's fear that comes at you quick, and you have to react, right? And then there's something that you can sit, contemplate with, and either you get to make a choice in that instance. And so there's some thought processes that you have to walk through, if you will. Sometimes like a CrossFit workout or a workout in general, like you kind of see it and you think, that's kind of scary. Or, I did the Ironman triathlon race, and there is some fear associated with me jumping in the water with 500 other athletes, men, Jeremy's size, being some of them, swimming and thinking like, I could drown if these people like tackle me. It's kind of some fear there. So in that approach to that, what do you do? How do you psychologically talk to yourself? And then also determine, that you've got this, you've trained for this, you can overcome that fear and take it by the horns, if you will, and then move right into it. So one of my biggest things right away I just want to say is like, when I see fear, I do have to acknowledge that I got this, I can take this on, and I'm going to win. So that is always, that I'm going to come out ahead on the other side. So I want to walk right into it. But there are some, you're weighing of, right, Jeremy said, the cat runs out in the middle of the street, fear that your cat's going to die, fear that you're going to get hit. What are you doing? So weighing out, right, some of those things in that instance is obviously important. But in the initial respect of scary things, I'm going to walk right into it.
Yeah, my first thought goes to really we'll be paying attention to breath, fight or flight, rest and recover. What is your autonomic nervous system doing and how are you functioning? If you have fear and you walk right into it, she's saying, I'm going to fight versus flee. So that's one way to address it. The other thing is the prolonged stress that is there, that you might be going from fight or flight to rest in that state that can cause a lot of anxiety and fear. That's a prolonged that can start to weigh on your nervous system, get you not to recover, and can really cause disease in the long run. And so there's these different aspects. So Carey's naturally going to move to that sympathetic nervous system. I'm going to fight, I'm going to attack it, and that might be her nature, and it might not be your nature. But one thing we find is, for me, that used to be my MO, and I've had to recalibrate because that snake that is actually an electrical wire that you're going to fight and go after and you grab and then you electrocute yourself might not be the best approach. So, Carey, if you ever grab a snake that's electrical wire and you get electrocuted, might not be the best thing to keep fighting. So we have to be practical, and that brings me back to awareness and how you slow down, breathe, and figure out where your state is so you can address your situation in a process that allows you to be empowered with decision making. Because anytime we make a decision out of fight or flight, we might be a little bit based off of a response versus making a choice is that a word? A choiceful decision that we've actually stopped, slowed down, and processed and come to a good conclusion. But what I always find is I always like to, the saying is, whatever you focus on grows. I always like to stop, breathe, and ask myself, what am I focusing on? And so if I'm focused here on my problems versus looking up, I look up in faith, look up in God, look up into possibility versus being focused on the problem, then I know why it's perpetuating. Because most of the time that why our fear grows is because we're focused on what's making us fearful. And so the first thing I always want to do is take a breath and then determine, is that electrical wire or is that a snake? And what tools do I have to handle it? Because if you have breath, you have a shovel. If you have breath, you have maybe something that can move the electrical wire out of the way, because shovel could kill a snake. Another controlling item can move the electrical wire out of the way. So let's stop and be empowered and aware of the situation. So I think awareness is always the big thing. But even for that, guys, I take CBD, and CBD calms me down, helps me stave off anxiety, which eliminates fear, and is also a great thing to do. So I do fitness for fear, I do CBD for fear, I do breath for fear, and I think about what I put in my mind. Because if I'm reading the news or reading things that are feeding the fear again, then it's elevating my fear. So I think there's step processes. Stop and breathe. Assess the situation. Make a determination on what your action plan will be. Do something or do nothing. Then proceed. Why? Because life is going to continue to happen, and all these obstacles are going to continue to rise up. And however we process it is how we're going to determine if we're going to win. But I think Carey, talking about her Ironman and things like that, is a great combo of what is my mind saying and what is my physical. Like, I could die and my mind's talking to me and I'm doing this physical activity. So it's kind of like psychological and physical all at the same time, and that's what we're up to. I think we like to do things that are hard, and what they say, like, do things by choice that are hard so you can figure out who you are, versus like doing things that are hard that just show up because life happens. And so I'm a big proponent, I know Carey is, doing hard things by choice. So whenever hard things show up, we have the mindset to take it on. And so again, I just prompt you to look at what you're focused on and determine if you can lift up your eyes and look at a higher proponent.
That question is, why am I scared of that? Why am I fearful of that? So again, ask that question.
All right, guys, thank you for the Ask Carey and Jeremy questions. Guys, keep them coming. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.